Yeah, I mean, like we talked about it in the off season. Just it's a developmental process. So he's got a couple games in, and he's made steps every game. There's always stuff to work on, and but he's made some nice strides these first 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks, 17 game schedule, and hopefully a postseason. So we have a long way to go, but he is developing. I was talking with him the other day, and he actually commented on. I said, "How's it feel getting game reps?" And he said, "Man, it's different. As much as we practice, as much as we work on things, the speed of the game, they've got other things to look at, using the offense to whatever the things were. So he's been benefiting from the game reps, I think, and he's feeling the benefit, and also feeling, oh boy, these problems or these things that I need to work on. I can see why I need to work on them because they're showing up. So it's been good for him. It's been a good process."
Because obviously Jimmy's been around for a while. We have an offensive line that has spent a whole off season working with Trey Lance, who's a very specific style of quarterback who can run and things like that. You get Jimmy, who maybe doesn't do some of those things. Are there teaching points that you have to kind of recalibrate with your group?
There's not much, it's really just primarily in the running game, and protection-wise, it's pretty much the same stuff. Kyle, the way he coaches the quarterbacks and the drop-back passing and play-action game is very consistent. The run game, and we try to build the run game, all of it so that it all kind of marries anyway, even though we go zone read or other things with the quarterback. There's some unique, but all of it has carryover to parts of our base offense anyway. So some minor technique things that we won't have to work on as much anymore that we probably won't have a running quarterback. So that's it. But as far as the rest of it, in the pocket, mobility, that stuff, it's not much of a change at all.
You were talking, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, about basically a catalog of plays that you guys have built. Is it just a matter of just taking different plays out of that catalog that suit Jimmy as opposed to Trey?
Well, the pass game is, obviously the passing game, and obviously they're going to do the things that work for both those guys. But the run game, yeah, there's just some of the plays in the catalog that are specific for quarterback runs probably won't be a part of our plan as much anymore. Although Jimmy did score against Chicago last year on a quarterback read play, and God, he scored twice. He scored on a play that should have gone to Debo, and then he scored on one that was a designed quarterback run play. So Jimmy has the ability to run it a little bit, just obviously not as dynamic as Trey.
How would you just kind of describe the running back core right now? You lose Mitchell the first week, you lose Ty Davis-Price last week, but you have Mack, now you have Coleman back. So
yeah, I need a program and a depth chart to know who's up for sure. So it's been rough at that position for those guys. Unfortunately they've suffered some injuries, and some guys, they'll all be back, but it's been tough. So those guys all, I said it last week as with Ty last week, and they work really, really hard, man. They come out there every week. They work to understand. They know with Kyle's system, the yards are there for guys if you're willing to learn and to listen and to do what we're supposed to do. So, he really is. All the guys are doing it, but yeah, Tev is back, and he has familiarity with Kyle both from Atlanta and here, and then Mack has been here, and excuse me, he's obviously learning right now and going through that process.
Show you last
Jeff's awesome. I mean, Jeff's one of my favorite guys on the football team. In fact, my son came to visit during training camp, and immediately his favorite player was Jeff Wilson. You just can't help but, and he's in his 20s. He's not like a 10-year-old or something, so obviously. But he loves he absolutely, Jeff's just a wonderful guy. I mean, I remember at the end of what was the Arizona COVID year? 2020? Was that the year we were stuck down there? And we played Arizona, and they had everything to play for, and we were really out of it. And Jeff Wilson just took that ball and pounded him. I mean, I love the way Jeff does. Now, Jeff's thing has been, as all of it, it's durability. He runs like a big back. He runs physical. He runs tough. Jeff Wilson comes to work, excuse me, every day with a smile on his face, a real pro, a joy to be around, and it's just so great to have him back there. You just have to always be Jeff's, all of them. You just can't wear them out. That's why you got to have a couple guys back there that can tote the rock. Even on the good running teams, when you look at Cleveland, who's an excellent running team, they've got the two runners. You've got Chubb and you've got Hunt, and traditionally, LaDainian Tomlinson, there was another guy with LT. There's traditionally always a second guy, so it's not going to be Jeff Wilson just toting the mail every single snap.
Nervous because it's Jeff Wilson and a lot kind of some question marks, and you just said
I've got more to be worried about than who's carrying the football. There's a lot. We've got to block the two edge rushers and things like that. But no, it's obviously there's a learning curve for guys. I use that word a lot, but there is. Guys that haven't been here have to learn. So you hope that they do well, and not nervous, but excited for them. They have an opportunity, excited that they get a chance to show us what they can do, and then hopeful that they do the right things.
Is J.P. Mason ready to be that number 2 guy if called upon?
Like with when you guys, all offseason, when you guys, that's a bad term. When I was asked in the offseason about, the guards, right? You don't know till they're playing. So JP showed some promise. That's why he made the football team. That's why he's here. Shows good things in practice. Saw some nice runs in the preseason and things like that. So now we'll have to see when he gets in with, live bullets. If Sunday Night Football, bright lights, the whole nation watching, the whole league watching, let's see what happens.
Ty's injury, a surprise. It's a fairly significant injury in that he's going to miss a few weeks, but I don't think he ever came out of the game because of the injury. Kyle even said we didn't know until like Monday.
Yeah, we didn't know. So it is surprising when they said the length of time and what the nature of the injury was. It was surprising, but hey, it is what it is. Tough kid, played through it, and maybe if he hadn't, it would have been better. I don't know, but it's too bad for him. But hopefully he comes back fast.
What have you observed? Griese obviously has spent his life in football, so he knows the game, but has never been officially a coach. What have you observed from him just as a coach?
Brian's been awesome. He really has been. I'm not going to stand up here and, he's a terrible coach. He should have stayed in the booth. I'm not going to say that. But he obviously, he's done a really good job, honestly. He has. He's embraced it. I'm sure there's days where he wonders, what are we still doing here after 16, 17, 18 hours? I can't speak for him, but I think there's days where he probably wonders that. I see the look in his face like, is it always this crazy? But he's been great, man. He's been great with the players. He adds a perspective. He's all in. He's very honest. He's very professional. He's got his opinions. He speaks them. There's nothing better than to have a guy that's willing, he has an opinion, right, wrong, or indifferent, and he's willing to speak them because we do need everybody's thoughts and opinions as Kyle's trying to formulate how we go forward. And Brian's not afraid to do that, and he gives a perspective both as a former player and now being close to these quarterbacks and having a connection because of that former player. It's been really, really cool to watch he and Clay Kubiak work with these guys, and Brian's done a great job.
You mentioned the guards, they and the interior offensive line as a whole are going to have really their first true test of the season up against DJ Jones on Sunday. How do you prepare them for a player of that caliber, and how do you think they're going to rise to that challenge?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm really excited we talk about guards so much. Secondly, you said first challenge of the year. All the first two games were great challenges as well, because the last two guys, those guys were giants in there, and they were a great challenge for our guards. Obviously, DJ is a great player. We have great respect for him, as well as the other players on the interior of their defensive line. The challenge is going on the road, the crowd noise, like I said, the bright lights, all the attention, the focal point. Hey, the guys have played good the first couple games and all those things, and now it's only 2 games. And yes, it's been against some quality opponents. Whatever, I'm not going to go into that, but the guys, it's going to be a challenge for them. It's always a challenge. It'll be a challenge all year long. You go through a couple good games, then you have a bad game. I said it to Aaron in the offseason particularly. I said, hey, Banksy, I said, at some point you're going to go through this process, you're going to be playing well, and all of a sudden you're going to hit the skids. All of a sudden the wheels are going to feel like, oh my God, are the wheels coming off? Am I going to be able to survive it? It's your first year playing full time. And then all of a sudden you'll either come back from that or you'll be standing next to me on the sideline. And that's what's going to determine this season for you. And so far, so good. But at some point, maybe it doesn't ever wobble. But I coached Trent Williams in his rookie year. It wobbles as a rookie. I promise you that. So,
is it to play at that elevation?
I went to school at Colorado State, and so I would say when I would come back, I lived in Arizona, so I would come. What am I talking about? It's 40 years ago. But anyway, when I came back, I think the altitude still was the same back then. When I came back, it was always, there was a couple days, you feel it, but it's not like it stops you from doing anything. You just are like, it's weird. It's like you can't, I don't know, get on a treadmill and you go up there. You'll see yourself. It's kind of you just can't quite feel like you're catching a full breath, but it's not like it's debilitating. That's always been my experience with it.
Thanks, Coach.
You guys want to talk pass sets? We're good? Okay, thanks, guys.